All right, welcome back to Blackacre Ranch, guys. This is a no-till seed drill. So my friend Steve let me borrow it. It's gonna hopefully make planting a lot easier. Today is the day where we start doing all this planting. I've already spent this morning, I probably look like a piece of work. I spent this morning mowing other sections that needed mowed. Probably been under the weather. I'm hacking like a dog. And it's gonna be a fun day. But anyway, let's go through this no-till seed drill, how it kind of works for all you guys that are my friends that have never used one of these before. And that's like almost every friend I have besides you, Steve. So I'll kind of just give a basic, because I'm no genius at it, how this thing operates and what we're planting and why we're planting. All right, guys, so let's start with a piece of equipment and how we're actually getting this seed in the ground. So there's a couple options, right? You can go out and plant this stuff with a broadcast spreader. You've seen those things from like True Green or whatever. You just in your yard. Same general concept. You can put on the back of the tractor just some massive hopper, boom, and load in 300 pounds of seed and start taking off and driving, and it just spits it all out, right? That's one way to do it, broadcast spreading. This is a seed drill, and the purpose of this guy is to put all of the seed in the ground and at a certain depth. So you got all this disking, you got everything else, and you've got the tires, rollers on the back. I don't have every technical term, so I'm gonna call everything a doohickey, thingamajib, bopper, whatever else you wanna call it, whatever. Some stupid name, and it's probably not gonna be right, so don't even start correcting me in the actual book, so on the comments. Anyway, so what happens is you got these discs here at the bottom, and that cuts into the ground. And they're just wavy discs, and they'll go into the ground at a certain depth through hydraulics. You set it on the back of the tractor, and it just sagging into the ground, and everything's working just fine. This is your calibration handle. You have an acre counter, but tells you how much you've gone, how much you've planted, so forth like that. I'm not using that just because it's another thing, and I don't know if it works. I'm actually not even using all of this up here, so I'm not gonna go into all the depth. But what happens is on the back, in whatever bin, this one or this one, there's these tubes, and these will disperse by the settings that come off of these guys, the seed down, and they will fall out at the appropriate spot, up here or back here. This opens the gap that is created by that. This opens it, seed drops in it, and then this guy will roller it and kind of squish it back down and pack it down. So in a nutshell, that's all it really is, right? It can't be that complex. So really, you've got two bins. Now this is like, seriously, the extent of my knowledge on this. Two bins. You got a small seed bin for small seed, and then you've got a normal seed bin for normal seed, all right? All of these controls up here, that sets it right up in here. And this is the calibration. If you were to smart enough and want to bother with it and like how to calibrate and fine tune exactly the feed rate, detach the hoses, jack it up, I told you don't feel too good. Run the wheel, measure out the seeds, all this other junk, whatever. I'm not doing that. Then you can do that. I'm not using this stuff because what I'm actually gonna be planting is a Bermuda grass. Bermuda is super small. It is a tiny seed. And so I was told if I broadcast spread this with a hopper in the back of the tractor or whatever, or walk the pasture, because the seed is so small, they want you to dilute the seed with play sand. So I'd have to go to like Home Depot or something and mix a 5-to-1 ratio, 5 parts sand for every part seed. I have so much sand on this field, I don't even want to add any more. And I didn't want to have to do that, right? So that was just to make sure that the seed breaks up and is able to launch out because it's so fine. All right, so this is the seed, guys. This is super small seed. And so they wanted you to dilute that. And so I just thought, nah, Steve was nice enough to let me borrow this. So this is gonna go in the small seed side of things, and it's gonna drop in and go, okay? All the other things about how to work this, once we get it to the place, we can set the hydraulics to lower it down to where we want. There's a hub here. We take this out, switch it, and that engages the drive with the tire. And so as long as the tire is running, it runs the equipment and then starts everything as long as we're going forward. So it's a mechanical operation, not a big deal. And I sure hope it's that simple, right? All right, so why did I pick Bermuda seed, right? There's native grasses, there's all sorts of grasses. One, I wanted something that I don't have to replant every season, okay? That was just the first part. The second thing was, in the area here, like native grasses, that's fine and all, but I am getting slaughtered on hay. I don't mind native grasses. I know one of you has already sent me seeds for planting. Some of those are, I think, are native and so forth like that. I mean, I'm totally cool with that. I don't know if half the stuff I have out here is native or if that's just called weed. But when it came time to it, I really need pastures that have a good density of foliage and grasses. And that comes down to two types for our sandy soil. And that's Bahia grass and a Bermuda grass. So there's coastal Bermuda, there's all sorts of other kinds of Bermuda. They kind of boil down to this, and this is kind of why I chose what I did. So Bahia grasses, from what I understand, will appear, they're more of a cooler season grass, meaning they'll be the first to appear in the season, like maybe March, April, around here. May, but by the time June hits and the summer hits, it kind of goes a little slower to react. It's not quite as potent. It almost, I don't know if it goes dormant even, but it doesn't really react as well. Bermuda grass will thrive during the summer and it will do really well, but it shows up later in the year. Okay, same thing at the end. Bermuda grass, as the season starts cooling off, it kind of dies off, but that's when Bahia is stronger. So it's almost like you need a mixture of Bahia grass and Bermuda. Now, Bahia grass is going to kill your Bermuda. It'll choke it out eventually if it gets thick enough. But, you know, I have Bahia in pastures 4 and 5. Some of it is in some of these other pastures, not very much. So my plan is to plant Bermuda grass in pastures 6 and 7. And then I will also plant Bahia grass or Bermuda grass in the feed pens 1, 2, and 3. I think we call them A, B, C. Anyway, probably B and C just since our other guys are in A. So my goal is if I have pastures 4 and 5 that have Bahia and cool season stuff, more so, they will pick up in the year around March, April, May. Bermuda will start really gaining a lot of steam in the summer as the Bahia drops off. Bermuda will start dropping off in the fall as the Bahia picks back up as it kind of cools off a little bit. So I'm trying to lengthen my growing season. 2 pastures in Bahia and 2 pastures all in Bermuda means that I can rotate back and forth during whatever times of year that it suits it best. That's my goal. That's my idea. Am I an herbologist? No. I've asked the seed guys like 9 times, guys. So what they would do, and you know, it's like calling the DMV. So I got Bermuda. All right, so let's live with it. Let's get some planting on some of this stuff and see it in action and see how fast, I guess. This stuff, I'll tell you, this stuff, the Texas Tough one that our seed company out here has a faster growing, it's some sort of a hybrid, whatever, but it's got more grass, does better, grows faster, everything than like a coastal Bermuda hay. So there's different Bermudas. This one supposedly under tests and other things that have been done produces a lot more. So that's why I didn't go coastal or anything else like that. I'm gonna go give this stuff a shot. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's see if we can get hooked up, get everything out there, I guess, and plant. Good idea. That seemed harder than I thought it would be. Feels very soft, very thin.
So tiny.
All right. Looks like 150-pound bag.
Like that.
Now, obviously, we spilled some, so when we leave, Mara can blow this off into the dirt.
Grow some seed over here.
Out over there, so. think we're set for just towing it out to the pasture. Once we're to the pasture, there's a couple things to do. One with the hub, and then also setting the hydraulics to lower and raise where we need to be. So let's get out there. I know I'm going to rip this off when I hit a fence post with a tree. Let's get this taken care of.
That was it?
I think that's it.
That was fast.
We're only supposed to be like a 1/4 inch depth in the ground, so it's like scratching the surface. It's not a lot. You know, it's only like, what, $600 a bag? So I guess you can't screw it up that bad, right? So actually, this is what, probably 2 acres between these two, maybe 2.5. So after this, I should still have half my seed left. I might go over to the 2.5 acres and just try and, I don't know, peel out and do whatever else over there. There should be a 1/4, maybe. I mean, gone, so.
No, I would say not even a 1/4, but it's down. It's been being used, but it's not even necessarily a whole 1/4 gone.
Okay.
So you're doing good. I was looking and I can see the seed in the lines. So I did find some.
Is the roller?
It's smushing them in.
Is it smushing them back in?
I found a couple. I was like, oh, so I could see some seed.
How would you do want to finish all this and realize that this thing's all gone after the first 2 passes? So I don't know if I mentioned, Charlie, you can always correct me, we're putting 10 pounds per acre. So a 50-pound bag would do 5 acres. That's kind of how I'm doing. This is like 2.5, so I don't know, whatever. And then we'll do the 2.5 acres, which is 2.5 acres. So hopefully it does all of it. I mean, this is just not even half of the first section, so we just want to check it.
Not done with this one. Still looks good?
Yeah.
Good.
So I didn't actually put it to 10 pounds an acre.
Oh, what'd you put it to?
About 8 pounds an acre because it wouldn't go all the way up to the 100 mark.
Oh, so we're gonna get what we get.
So I got to work on my driving skills and covering. You can see the little leftover tracks, and that does help some, but I've got so much more turnarounds to try and get to it. I'm glad the tongue is as long as it is, but hopefully this one will go easier.
it's not like ideal branch cleanup, but for mowing, I just gotta get the stuff out of the way right now. So, not mowing, seeding. It's probably done 3-4 passes now. We're at the far north end of Pasture C. That would go out to Pasture 4 once we finish fencing that in.
Nothing like all your hopes and dreams in a planted field, right?
Exactly.
But what looks sexier than a mowed like pasture is a planted one that's been mowed.
Yeah.
So I hope this is good. Let's check how much we've got left. As I said before, we didn't fill it. We didn't put the rate of droppage as high as it could have gone. So I just hope that's not empty.
It's like all gone. Oh, it's looking good.
Run, my little friends, run.
Go to the ground.
Let's see if we have enough time to run over to that 2.5 acres.
It didn't take you that long to do this.
And just go give it a run through real
Yeah,
quick.
just because we're overplanting. It's got so much forage in there.
The area that's over there that's orange, that's where we moved all the asphalt. It's got a lot of rock and a mixture of loose asphalt. So in going over that one, I just lifted up the front to get the blades out of the ground, and so it's still dropping seed, I believe. But I didn't want to turn and go over any of those rocks with the blades down here. All right, so this is the 2.5 acres. There is a lot of kind of green grass kind of stuff in here. And I have to keep telling myself that come summertime, this usually goes dormant or goes brown. I don't know really what kind of grass it is. I don't know. So I've got still some seed. I'm just gonna plant this stuff in whatever this is. And my hope is, like the others, when it starts warming up, maybe this dies and the Bermuda kicks in. So hopefully they cohabitate pretty well. But otherwise, I'm just gonna run myself around right now and give it a shot.
This is pretty tall stuff. I know some buffalo who'd be happy to eat it. Now, it's not all like this, but sure is over here.
I think I need to mow this actually.
So bad.
So we're done. I know it is really bad, isn't it? But it's good. It's a good bad.
That's right.
If that exists. All right, so we got seeding done. We got 5 acres. I don't know how much seed is left, but probably not a lot. So this is just a start, guys. This week I'm going to be working on doing a bunch more. I don't know how much video I'm going to get of it. I'm going to try and just crank through it because we have storms coming. Was it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? So I've got another 30 acres. I used the tractor a lot today, actually. Holy cow. My butt is sore. Need to get an air seat or something like that. So anyway, we're gonna catch you guys later. Thanks for joining along. The seeder worked great. Thanks, Steve, for letting us borrow it and for continuing to let us borrow it. And now we pray, guys. Pray for rain. All those peeps, whoever plants seeds, colonizing America or whatever it is, that is some faith right there that they can plant seeds. I bet they weren't worried about pH balance and all that crap. They just planted seeds. So now's the time for rain to come and let it grow. We'll catch you guys next time on Blackacre Ranch. Bye.